Today's question is, what is a coterminal angle? And to figure out what it is, let's first start by drawing out our x and y coordinate system. So we have our x-axis running horizontally and we have our y-axis running vertically. And we know that when we start at the x-axis, we have 0 degrees. So we have 0 degrees down here. We have 90 degrees. This is a 90-degree angle. And we can find all the angles of these different quadrants. So this will be 180 degrees, and this will be 270 degrees, and then we end up back full circle from where we started to get 360 degrees. So again, 90 degrees, 180 degrees, 270 degrees, back full circle to 360 degrees. So now let's say that we have an angle being drawn 30 degrees from the x-axis. So we'll call this 30 degrees. And this line here is our terminal arm. This is our terminal arm, which is essentially where we stopped drawing or measuring the angle. So we had 30 degrees and we terminated it, or we stopped measuring an angle at the point of the terminal arm. So now back to the main question. What is a coterminal angle? And to get a better intuitive understanding of this, we can break this up into its two root words, coterminal. Co, you can think of as sharing something, and terminal arm. So another angle that shares a terminal arm with an angle. And what do I mean by that? This 30 degrees had pointed to this terminal arm. So this terminal arm belonged to this 30 degrees. We can find another angle such that it still points to this terminal arm, but it's a different angle than 30 degrees. So now let's go ahead and find that angle. So we start at our x-axis. We start here and we go 90 degrees, we get to 180 degrees, and we go to 270 degrees. Let me actually just draw that in. So we go 90 degrees, 180 degrees, 270 degrees, and then we end up back at 360 degrees. We still have this small 30-degree portion to account for. So we do 360 degrees and we add 30 degrees and we end up at the same terminal arm as our 30-degree angle. And so essentially all we did was we took our 30-degree angle and we added this 360 degrees. And we got our coterminal angle to be, in this case, it ends up being 390 degrees. And this 390 degrees is the coterminal angle of 30 degrees. So now let's see another few examples. We'll start again by drawing out our x and y axes. So our x-axis again, and this is our y-axis. Now let's say our angle ends somewhere here, so we could call this 100 degrees. And this is again our terminal arm. And we want to find a coterminal angle to this 100-degree angle that we have here. So how do we do that? Let's do the same thing that we did for our previous example and just draw another angle and see if we can end up at the same terminal arm. So let me label our axis angles again. So 180 degrees, 270 degrees, and back to 360 degrees. Okay, so we start here. We end up here, we're at 90 degrees. We go here, we're at 180 degrees. We're here, we're at 270 degrees. We come back around, we're at 360 degrees. And then we just have one more portion to account for. It's this 100 degrees. So when we go from here back to our terminal arm, so we go from here back to our terminal arm, we have an additional 100 degrees to add. So we did 90, 180, 270, 360, and we have to add another 100 degrees, and we will find a coterminal angle for 100 degrees. And in this case, that will give us, so we had 100 degrees and we added 360 degrees to it, and we got 460 degrees. And this is our coterminal angle for 100 degrees. Now, you're not always going to be adding 360. The advice that I would give is take it case by case. So once we start dealing with negative angles, it becomes a little bit different, but the idea is still there. So here's our x-axis, and here's our y-axis. Now let's say we have negative 30 degrees. So this angle from here to here is negative 30 degrees. And let's say you want to find a positive coterminal angle. So positive coterminal angle. Coterminal angle. Nothing changes. We do the same thing. So this is 0 degrees, 90, 180, 270, and 360. And so we want to find a positive coterminal angle. So we're going to be measuring positive angles. So let's go around 90, 180, 270, and we need to end here. Before, we would go completely around and add whatever the angle was to get to the same terminal arm, such as what we did here. We did one full circle, we got 360, and then we added whatever the angle was to get back to the same terminal arm point. However, in this case, it's different. We need to stop measuring the angle once we reach the terminal arm. So our coterminal angle will look something like that. But how do we actually get the value? So we do the same thing. We can actually go here, go back around to 360. So at this point, we're at 360 degrees. And then we just need to push it back by this angle, by 30 degrees. So what that will look like is we did our full loop, and then we need to push it back by 30 degrees. So this will end up giving us 360 degrees minus 30 degrees. And our positive coterminal angle for negative 30 degrees is positive 330 degrees. And that is how you find coterminal angles for angles on the Cartesian plane.